Red Dead 2 serial unaliver is actually terrifying by bizlychannel. I really loved his last video on the GTA version of it, which is actually up here at the top. I'm honestly super excited to see this and what he brings to the table. I haven't played Red Dead 1, I haven't played the DLC, haven't played the second one, so it's going to be effectively a blind reaction to this world.
The term serial killer wasn't first used until sometime in the 1930s and only became more widely talked about in America in the early 1970s. Since then, though, it's evolved into this larger-than-life idea, walking this dangerous line between real-life tragedy and fictional entertainment. People just seem to find the idea so fascinating. And by people, I mean my sister. She's always watching some kind of true crime video.
Yeah. I watch a lot of casual criminalists sometimes. Like, I have to meter my intake of it, because it gets depressing after a while. You can only hear about Ed Gein, John Wayne Gacy. You can only hear about so many of them before you just start getting depressed, right? But yeah, no, I watch a lot of these documentaries.
The weirdest thing to me about it, though, is the fact that we only started talking about this 50 years ago. I mean, did this phenomenon just not exist before then?
No,
maybe the fictional popularization inspired more real-life people to do these terrible things, and that's why it's only become so relevant now. But surely these kinds of people existed before the 1930s.
Yeah. They 100% did.
I mean, consider that back then it would have been much easier to get away with something like this. You know, the only way you could get caught, really, is if you wanted to be found.
I like the intro. I mean, like, even then, you could argue prop firearm, fake firearm. So here's the thing. He's still observing proper trigger discipline. Like, I know it's a small thing to say, hey, this is great, but we need to be acknowledging when people are doing it better, because there are so many instances of people on YouTube just being absolutely brain dead. So I can appreciate good trigger discipline when I see it.
If all you cared about was being noticed, and instead of hiding in the shadows, you put your work on display for all.
I like it. Good intro.
Behold.
I love that.
This spot right here, just south of Braithwaite Manor, is one of 3 locations around Red Dead Redemption 2's map where a body has been mutilated and displayed like this. Placed here by the most notorious serial killer in Red Dead Redemption 2. And we're gonna find him, along with a couple other mysteries that I've found throughout the game. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna try and figure out how this could potentially connect to the serial killer in GTA 5. Now, at this crime scene specifically, there's not enough information to piece together who the killer is.
No.
But there are some clues that were left behind that I tried to use to reconstruct the crime scene. This twisted, gnarled tree with branches that dig out and down into the ground like claws is nestled here at what a professional might call a 3-way intersection. Here at the edge of the road, there is a pool of blood, as well as multiple hunks of dude baloney. I realize that doesn't sound right. Not sure what else to call it. Don't want to get demonetized. It's gonna be dude.
That's the big one.
Baloney. We're gonna have to get over it. The blood streaks up towards the base of the tree, indicating that something was likely pulled up this small hill, but it doesn't all move in a singular path. The splatters are inconsistent. It's me, I'm Dexter. I am the Bay Harbor Butcher. It's not lining up. There are 3 separate ones along the side of the road. The first one has kind of a clear path moving straight up towards the tree, but the other one seems to splatter outwards. Mixed in as well are these 2 rocks that have been coated in blood. It could be that he used these rocks to strike someone who was passing by, but that doesn't seem likely. This doesn't really look like a murder site. It looks like an art exhibit. Just a nasty, murdery one. I think this man was already dead when he got here. I think he was dropped onto the ground right here and dragged up towards the base of the tree where he was prepared. Up here, there's pretty much blood everywhere, and the dude baloney is plentiful. And the splatters by the side of the road, I believe, were the killer taking these pieces and tossing them down to the side of the road where they could be more easily recognized by people passing by. I mean, this isn't just a random murder. I see this as desperation to be seen. At this point, I was just wondering how nobody passing by had seen the killer setting this up. I mean, there have been a handful of people running by even just in the few minutes I've been here, but I wasn't sure exactly how many people had passed by. So, given that this is my full-time job to talk about stupid stuff in video games, I spent a full day in Red Dead just kind of chilling out right here, trying to see how many people passed by, counting them. It wasn't a real full.
I honestly love this though. Like, here's the thing, right? I mean, this is science at work, right? You have a hypothesis, you're testing your hypothesis, you're gathering information here. Like, it's basic, it's elementary, but honestly, like, clearly it works to great effect in multiple ways other than just science class in high school, right? I love it.
Day though. It was just a day in Red Dead, which in real time is actually like an hour and a half maybe. So I sat there for about that long just counting how many people passed by. I wasn't sure if this was gonna yield any interesting results, but it actually was kind of interesting to see that in the daytime, there were 23 people who passed by on this trail, most of them in groups of 2 or 3. Usually they were going pretty fast, and you can only actually see this tree if you're coming from this way. I rode by in first person each way too, just to make sure. But even still, in the 23 people that rode by, odds are at least one of them would have seen it. The interesting thing I noticed though was at nighttime, when only a single person rode by, and that was like almost in the morning light. Whoever did this came here in the night knowing they would have time to prepare this for those who would pass by in the day. This idea is backed up by the lantern here placed at the base of the tree. You can shoot down the body, but there's nothing to be looted from it. Instead, what you can find illustrated by the path of viscera pointing you towards it. You like that? Viscera. New word. Add that one to the dictionary. I learned that word from Viscera Cleanup Detail. The game where you clean up viscera.
Heard it's a good game.
Which is blood.
Yeah.
Woman. Uber Eats. Did you know there's a DLC for that game where you can clean up blood from Santa's workshop?
Amazing. I did not.
Pretty good. I liked it. Anyway, around the corner is the head of this man with a rolled up piece of paper that you can pull out of his mouth. It's just called Killer Clue Piece 1, and finding all 3 pieces should lead you to the killer, which just means we have to find the other 2 bodies in order to find it. I was really hoping I'd be able to analyze the clues at these murder sites and find his location on my own without the help of the map. So I just kind of rode off into the general area, hoping for any specific dialogue to the situation. Maybe anybody had seen something or heard something, but there just wasn't really much to find. I mean, some people would ride by, see the body, and then just yell, "Jesus!" Oh, damn. But then they just keep riding like nothing happened. Mind your business, I respect it. There were only 2 directions that these people were going. This other road was pretty much untraveled. And so when I followed the road south, it diverged pretty hard and just kind of led up to the water. There was this one house that I found, but the people there seemed to have their own problems, so I just left them alone. So the only other option was to head north, which led me to the town of Rhodes.
So I like this. It's also when you consider displaying such a how do I word this? When you're displaying their work, right? I mean, part of it is wanting to be noticed. Part of it is wanting to like share. It depends. Like analyzing the psychology is really fascinating. I would recommend not doing it for too long for obvious reasons because it's really depressing. But like, there are absolutely cases where people kind of want their work to be noticed, or like maybe they get sloppier over time because nobody is catching them, right? Like there's a lot to consider when you're talking about serial killer psychology. Or I'm far enough into the it should be fine. Very fascinating field of study. Not something I would do actually professionally though. I leave that to people who have a bit stronger stomach than I do personally. But I like it. I like the environmental clues left behind, right? You know, the lamp, behold, clearly wanting their work seen, admired, leaving notes, wanting to leave that trail, right? It all feeds into each other very well.
Likely place that everyone was going to and from. I searched around town, talking to everybody, just hoping to get some unique dialogue about the body, but nobody really wanted to talk to me. I don't understand why. I'm so friendly. Have you seen a body in the woods? The only interesting thing I found was this boy in a sailor suit calling to me from this basement window.
Mister, I've been trapped down here.
Now, this is not related to the serial killer in Red Dead 2. But in my first Red Dead video, I briefly talked about this guy in the basement and said if we got 50K likes, I would go down there and figure out what his whole deal was. Okay. I held him hostage for YouTube likes. I got them. Now he's free. Mr. Beast should start holding people hostage. It's a pretty straightforward little encounter, at least on the surface. But there are some little details and things that don't line up exactly that even to this day have not been completely answered. This one's going to require a Coke Zero. She loves the Coke Zero. There's a pretty quick encounter. You run into the gunsmith's shop and you hold him at gunpoint. You say, I want to rob your basement, and then he'll take you down there. But he'll tell you about his boy who's sleeping down there.
Got my boy sleeping down there. It's such a shame to wake him.
I don't want to disturb his little boy.
You can always come back after he wakes up.
Sich so worried about his little boy.
Oh, thank God.
Not a boy. That is a grown man. A random guy that this gunsmith has dressed up in a sailor's costume. You can shoot the chain to release him, but if you just like wait a couple of seconds, the guy will start like saying weird stuff or still trying to convince you that he's his son.
He was being a bad little boy, stealing candy from the store again. It's for his own good.
And like you start to wonder if he truly believes it, or if he's just a wackadoodle. Probably both.
these shackles off me, please.
All right, let's get you out of there now.
Oh.
Oops.
Whoops. I mean, he is
My bad.
freed now.
Anyway, if you shoot the chains, it'll release the
Nice.
man, and the gunsmith will actually start confessing and apologizing, explaining exactly why he did all of this.
I just couldn't face that he was gone. I was teaching Sammy how to hold the rifle proper out by the river.
The recoil shot him backwards.
He slipped into the river. Water pulled him downstream so quick. It all happened
Oof.
so fast. I didn't know what to do. I just miss him so much.
Oh, and that's really sad. I had no idea.
A little bit, yeah.
You know what? Let's hog tie him and bring him back. You can have it. He's all yours. I didn't realize he had a sad backstory. You should have led with the sad backstory. I would have been fine with this. There's a couple other ways this encounter can go. If you walk down into the basement and decide, I'm not touching this, you'll just leave. And if you come back at a later time, the man's gone.
He's gone.
No explaining. Probably dead. But after you release him, you can choose to either kill or spare the gunsmith. I mean, I guess you can kill the guy who he held captive too, but why would you do that? Why would you do that? If you kill the gunsmith, you can loot this little piece of paper from him that's just called Son's Drawing. I thought this was depicting a location that we could go and find. Like maybe we could go and find his son's body somewhere. The gunsmith said he was teaching his son how to shoot, and he got blown back into the river. And the nearest river on the map is the Kamasi River, and so I just decided to roam up and down that river for like 3 to 4 hours to see if I could find anything.
I mean, how does that work though? Like, are you just have your back to the river? Like, I don't know. That's a little strange. I mean, generally you want to know what's around you, right? Like, cool. I take my Smith & Wesson 500 and I'm shooting, with a river to my back, right? Doesn't quite make a lot of sense, right? Like, how do the logistics of that actually work? Like, did he just fall backwards and then like a bunch of like loose gravel and stuff like fall out from under him? But even then, that's not shooting on a stable surface. So like, how did this happen, right? Like, I feel like the gun shop owner is really at fault for just gross negligence, right? Like, he also could have been lying. That's true as well, right? You were taking him at his word.
And I'll tell you what, found diddly squat. Not a gosh darn goddamn motherfucking thing. There's nothing. I was lied to. There were some locations that looked like maybe they could have been shooting a gun with their backs to the river, but none compelling enough that I truly believed that was the
Right.
location where he got flung into the river. And the longer I looked, the more I started to think, why the fuck would you shoot
do that,
a gun with your back towards the river and like be shooting towards the path? Wouldn't you want to shoot at the river? Did he get blown back like this? And also, the river isn't really moving that fast. I don't know how you could get swept away here. And you know what? Why did no one else in Rhodes notice that there was a guy locked up in a basement screaming? Or sorry, scratch
This is true. Yeah, like, why did no one else notice this?
that. Why was there one guy who was talking to the guy in the basement and he just walked away as he begged for help?
I don't want no trouble.
I don't want no trouble.
No, please don't go, please don't go.
When I saw him down there the first time, I left him there. And then when I came back the second time, he said this to Arthur.
Yes, I'm still down here because nobody will help me.
He's right next to the road. There is no reason the sound couldn't travel from here just over to here, like a couple feet, man. There's people who loiter out here all day long. They didn't hear this? Why did no one help him? And why is it that the gunsmith claims he was teaching his son how to shoot and he got swept away in the river while holding his gun? But the reward for this little quest, for freeing him, is his son's rifle. At least I think that's what it was. Might not have been. Pretty sure it was his son's rifle, though. It was down there with the rest of his weird little boy shrine. I think the gunsmith is lying about what happened to his son, either
Which makes
intentionally or he just remembers it wrong. He begged for forgiveness, but only after he had been caught and his
right.
captive had been released. So he fed us the saddest story imaginable.
So, I mean, that's bargaining, right? Bargaining to lessen the blow of the action being taken, right? Trying to bargain for a lesser sentence, right?
It came from a real place, but I think there's a reason why the details don't all line up. I also think there's a reason that the people in town turn a blind eye. Not gonna lie, I got kind of tired of aimlessly roaming around roads, so I started looking online for other theories and things I might have missed that other people found. Some people were saying the gunsmith's son became the Wolfman. I didn't even know there was a Wolfman in the game, but subscribe, and maybe I'll make a video about it. I don't know, maybe I won't. It just depends if it's interesting. I'll make a video on it if it's interesting. But what I actually found online was a video by The Strange Man on YouTube, where he plays multiple pieces of dialogue from the people in Rhodes, all talking about this boy, about the gunsmith's son, and claiming that they were all, in a way, responsible for his death.
I wish people stopped talking about what happened to that boy. It's done now. I don't feel no guilt on the issue.
Now, I haven't been able to recreate this dialogue. I don't know if it's been removed from the game or what. Maybe I just didn't look hard enough. I also haven't been able to figure out what actually happened to his son. Even still, I just have no idea. The river is full of gators, so if he fell in, probably not much to find. I looked around the graveyard a little bit, and there are some tombstones with people with the same last name as the gunsmith, including this one, who I believe was the gunsmith's wife at one point, and her tombstone just reads, "She didn't suffer fools." Maybe I'm just looking into this a little too hard, or maybe there is something actually here, but I've been researching and roaming around for multiple days and I just haven't found anything compelling or concrete. So I'm gonna have to leave this specific mystery here at this unsolved big red stamp. But I still wanted to include it.
I mean, honestly, like, I like that he included it, though. Like, and he did his due diligence, he followed up. And even though, yeah, he had to go to other YouTube videos and stuff, right? I mean, if he can't physically recreate it, right? Like, as long as they are valid interactions, not like, you know, AI slop or anything like that, which clearly it doesn't seem like it is, right? As long as they're valid in-game interactions, that still counts as him doing research. He's just looking at someone else's research to be able to be like, okay, like, what is there anything more to be gained here? Yeah, he did all that he could, right? And that's what matters, right?
In the video, just in case any of you in the comments had figured anything out. Maybe there were some details that I glossed over, some things that I missed. I don't know. At this point, I'm just curious. I want to know if something was going on there, or if I'm just crazy. Anyway, right now we're headed up to Valentine, where we will find the second of the 3 bodies left behind by the serial killer. But before we get there, Papa needs some new boot money, so this video is sponsored by Dragon Traveler, a free-to-play game where love, comedy, and isekai come together. I don't watch anime. I didn't know what isekai was, so I looked it up. It just means a story where the protagonist is transported to an unfamiliar world.
Yeah.
In this case, I am the protagonist in this very unfamiliar world where sparsely clothed women want to talk to me. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't, right? Like, in Dragon Traveler, you can build and level up your team to battle your way through this fantasy world. It's got a full campaign, dungeons to explore, plenty of characters to choose from, and you can get all of the in-game resources just by playing the game. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is a game that appeals to a very specific kind of gamer, but if that's you, I would go check it out. And even if not, I mean, this is not my normal kind of game, but I played it for a solid 3 hours today, and it kept me pretty entertained. And going to check out the game, just engaging with the sponsors overall goes a long way in supporting my channel. The game releases on January 13th, and if you show up on day 1, you can get 30,000 diamonds and 1,000 summons. Both good, very useful things in this game. Use my link in the description to check out Dragon Traveler for yourself. Support the channel, and thank you so much to Dragon Traveler for sponsoring this video.
I'd give it an 8. I thought it was good. I don't think it was anything stellar. I think that it tried to add to the piece a little bit. The segue into it was really good. Audio was consistent. Theme was consistent, right? Read was pretty standard. Liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty kid. I thought it was a good ad read. I liked it. Could be a Skyrim cut quest situation too. In Skyrim, there's a cut murder mystery. Some player shares because a lot of the content is only accessible with mods. Is that the Narvi? It's, oh god, what quest is that? It's not Riverwood. I don't remember. I think I know which one you're talking about, though. The Darius earlier in chat clarified, serial killers have indeed existed along in the pop culture depictions. Next to Confess Elizabeth Bathory, the exit, also known as the Blood Countess or Countess Dracula. She was accused of killing hundreds of girls and women, sentenced to a count of 80 murders around the turn of the 16th century. Yeah, so it's existed far longer than pop culture would insinuate. And yeah, the whole Narvi thing, I remember watching videos on that. I don't know if it was a Camel Resort video or something. I might go down that. I might go down into it because I always love watching those videos. Like, people definitely do some investigative reporting on that. And I wonder if anything news pop up. I've been on a huge Elder Scrolls lore binge recently.
The second site looks much like the first, blood pools skewing out to the nearby path, and only a torso and arms that remain intact, tied up to the posts holding up the train track. The second map piece is once again inside the dude's mouth, but written on the rocks over here is a new message that reads, "Look on my works." This here is the only new piece of information we get from this kill site, but I think it's actually a big one. Now, just fair warning, I'm about to go way too deep into these 4 words here and what they could possibly mean in this context. It is probably not this deep. I'm gonna make it that deep anyway. And you know what? It's not a conspiracy theory. I'm getting the tinfoil.
Theory? Not the tinfoil.
That looks about right. I wonder if I could like make
The
it like
sea
a mask.
shanty. Oh my god, I love it. I'll always love a good RuneScape meme.
Go around. Oh, it's so loud. Okay, I need to put. I can't breathe. Gotta get the mouth. Oh,
It's the Great Cowl.
Have no fear, citizens. Tinfoil Man is here.
He can line a baking sheet in a single bound. So, in the early 1800s, Percy Shelley authored a poem called Ozymandias, one of his most famous works. I'm gonna read that to you right now. It goes, I met a traveler from an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains round the decay of the colossal wreck. Boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away.
I would have to honestly deep dive that. He's going to go into it, so I'm not going to spend too long trying to analyze it. I like it. It's very flowery, right? But in terms of what that actually means, man, I'd have to think on it for a hot minute.
All right, now what did you think that meant? Quiz time, right now. Tell me.
Got no idea, man.
And time's up. Hope you got it right. The consequence for failing this quiz is being encased in tinfoil for the rest of your life.
No,
And
no,
you don't
no,
want
yes.
that. It's so loud in here. It sounds kind of like this. I don't know if this is picking up exactly. Now, there's only that one phrase that correlates this poem to Red Dead Redemption 2. It's those 4 words spoken onto the plaque by Ozymandias, look on my works, ye mighty in despair. It didn't say that part. Why would they choose to have the serial killer in this game recite those same words as Ozymandias? The poem itself is about power in time. Even the man who proclaims himself King of Kings will have his legacy washed away in its sands. Is the game trying to equate this serial killer with Ozymandias? Or even further, make a commentary on all serial killers? I'm no expert. I don't think I have to tell you that exactly. But a quick Google search will tell you that delusions of grandeur and just pure narcissism are pretty common among killers like this. It's falling apart. This thing is driving me absolutely nuts. You know what? No tinfoil for today. No tinfoil. That's evil. That's such an evil thing to put on your head.
I love the cat. The cat just looking up at him.
Right?
Love it.
I made her a
love this
little
cat.
pirate hat. Ready?
Amazing.
Gonna look awesome.
Wonderful.
It looks awesome. This leads me to believe that the serial killer in Red Dead Redemption 2 is no different. Obsessed with how others see him, and yet seeing himself as above them all. These sick murder displays are his statue, and like Ozymandias, they give him a sense of power now, but in time they will be lost to the sands just as he will. I do have another theory. Another theory about why they put this poem into the game and how it all connects to the serial killer in Grand Theft Auto 5. But I want to actually find the killer first and dig into a couple more of the clues before I start throwing stuff like that out there.
I mean, it makes sense. You resolve the current investigation and then you expand on further speculation to try to tie the two together.
But for now, I wandered up to Valentine to sleep through the night, planning to look for the 3rd and final clue in the morning. As I rode into town, though, I was stopped by a woman claiming she needed my help.
Hey, mister! Yeah, you! Come over here! I'm in a real bind. This feller, he's in a bad way. You gotta help me. It was me or him, I swear.
The hell
I
is
gotta clean
this?
this room. Can you get rid of him, please?
So she's claiming that she killed this guy in self-defense, that he was hurting her, and this was her only choice. It was him or her. And she needs your help getting rid of the body. If you agree, she'll suggest that you take the body up to the pig farm, where the body will be eaten by the pigs. She suggests it awful quick, too. And
Wasn't there? I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it was up in Canada, right? I don't remember if it was one guy or if it was brothers. Didn't they have? It was what was it? I'm having to like recall this. It's been years since I looked into this one. Well, didn't one dude like live in a trailer on a farm, and yeah, there were pigs on the farm. And oh god, I'm trying to remember a bunch of illicit substances in his trailer. I could have swore it was brothers, but I could be wrong. If someone knows what case I'm talking about on just that little information, definitely let me know. I'll pin your comment because I have given effectively nothing on that. But someone will probably know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean that's very opportunistic, right? Where a lot of yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, Robert Pickton. Wow, I can't believe you did that, Derek. I can't believe you found that. Thank you. I mean that's very opportunistic, and I would argue a lot of serial killers are opportunistic. Where I mean, dude lived on a pig farm and is just just able to dispose of things. What's the I don't know, man. I was gonna bring up Hinterkaifeck, but I'm also like I'm so underread on it, and Wendigoon's done a good video on it. So many people have done way better videos on it. I would even feel disingenuous trying to argue opportunistic. I mean, it seems offhand opportunistic, especially with how there was like a good couple days where people just didn't check on the people at the farm. But like, I think opportunistic would definitely go hand in hand with a lot of serial killers, personally, from a rather uneducated perspective.
Exchange, she'll give you all the money she has. Couple problems. One, she's got no wounds. She doesn't look like she's been in a fight at all. Two, that suggestion to feed the body to the pigs, awful fast, awful specific, awful strange.
Yeah.
And three, if you tell her no, she'll try to kill you. So she's lying about why she killed him, but that just begs the question, what was the actual reason? Well, with my astute detective skills, I have deduced the answer. And that is that she felt like it.
Yeah,
Just
makes sense.
really wanted to. Official quote, just cuz. Why
Just
not?
'cause.
I don't know, got bored. This woman is also a serial killer. A different one from the one we've been investigating so far, but a serial killer nonetheless. She lures men up to these private rooms and gets them while their pants are down. And I say
So isn't this actually, there's actually, you see trends develop between men and between women, right, who are serial killers, where men, I as I understand it, usually favor, brute force. They favor, using strength, like, so hitting someone with an axe, hitting someone with a hammer, right? Throwing somebody, right? Whereas women often will default to things like poisons, the more subtle means. I also, what is it? Isn't there a metric that skews more serial killers as men? But I think that comes into contention because that's just the serial killers who've been caught, if that makes sense. I'd be very curious if what the it's like I say contention like in the same way that people take contention with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, yeah, you need to feel basic things in order to move up to self-actualization, but the order you can kind of fumble with a little bit, right? So, like, maybe security is higher up on the list for somebody, and food is near the bottom. Maybe they're inverse. Like that's what I mean by controversial. Is like there's valid contention in the sphere. I don't know. That's one of those that said I'm a little undereducated about. I've talked with my sister, talked with a few other people about it who are a little more knowledgeable than I. And even then, they've said that there's generally you'll see trends such as women will favor things like poison, where men will favor more physical means.
serial killer, even though we've only seen one body, because if you do this for her, you would
Let me go back a little bit.
kill her nonetheless. She lures men up to these private rooms and gets them while their pants are down. And I say serial killer, even though we've only seen one body, because if you do this for her, you agree and everything like that, you can leave, come back a little bit later, and she will have done it again. And she asks you for help again. This time without all the gumption, though. It's pretty obvious that she's lying now.
Thank you. Quick, this way. I can't believe this happened to me again.
Awful.
What I love about this encounter so much, and a lot of the side content in Red Dead, is the multiple different ways that it can play out. You can go and tell the sheriff that she killed this man, and he'll come get her himself. You can hog tie her and take her to the sheriff yourself. You can kill her and then just go tell the sheriff, or just help her and be evil. And if you leave her alive and just let the sheriff handle it, she will eventually be hanged in the town center. And while listing
Actual proper word for it. People will say hung. That is actually not the correct word. It is hanged, ED.
out her crimes, they'll mention people that she's killed that we didn't even know about. Serial. Technically, a serial killer. Just not the one we're looking for. No, the one we're looking for has left us one final piece of information in the general area around Wallace Station.
Before we get into the final piece, that's also indicative. I think it's a criteria, right? Is that there has to be a kind of profile, right? So for her, it's clearly men she can lure in, and maybe they're of a certain age or temperament, right? For other people, like a profile develops, right? Who do they go after? I think there is a single exception, but I mean, this was a couple years ago when I was looking into this. Like I think it was was it South Africa? I don't know if it was in the country South Africa or in geographical South Africa. I think there was one serial killer on record who didn't have a type, right? Like didn't have a profile of like who he went after. He was just kind of opportunistic on anybody. But as I understand it, he's very much the exception and not the rule.
This one I did have a hard time finding until nighttime. They definitely put the lanterns here so that you could find it. I would not have found this without the pretty light. This body specifically was not as artsy as the others. I don't know if my man just ran out of time or what, but he just kind of tied a rope around the rock and called it a day. It's not his finest work. It is also along the train track. So my guess would be that he's using the train to get around the map to put these bodies here. Now, before I picked up the final piece of the map, I wanted to try and deduce his location just based off of these 3 points on the map where we knew he had been. Okay, so he's got the bodies strung up here, here, and here. And each time, if he's using the train to get around, he is moving south of the station. My guess is that he's trying to move further away from where he lives each time. So that would put him about north of this line right here. And he's got to be getting onto the train somewhere. And we think he's taking these bodies onto the train with him to be prepared at other locations. And so my thought is he's probably getting on at a smaller station using either big luggage or leveraging a job on the railroad even. Now there's only one place that you, the player, can get on the train above this line here, and that is in Annisburg. I went over there, I couldn't find anything, so I'm gonna assume it's actually this spot right here, an unmarked station on the map, right up around the Bacchus station in this general area.
Okay. I mean, yeah, like I could see it. I mean, that doesn't look like that unmarked station is going to attract a lot of attention, right?
Could have been in Annisburg and I could have just missed it, but I'm actually going to put my firm guess right there at the Bacchus station and like in a general radius around it. And now, moment of truth, let's open up the map and see if we were right. Yeah, it didn't give a location on the map, so I had to go look around anyway. I had another big brain idea that we could maybe use to track him. If he was taking this train track down specifically and stopping at each different station, what if we just followed the train tracks up? And maybe it would take us to the general area where he was. I really thought I was being smart, and I was blown away by the fact that when you go through this little tunnel, there's like a little bit of writing on the wall. I was like, oh, for sure that's the path to him. I just gotta follow the train tracks. I followed him all the way up, found a little shack with dead people in it. Was not related. I really hoped it was related. I didn't even make it up as far as Bacchus Station. I got kind of sidetracked. I went over this rickety bridge, and then boom, a big marker on the map just to the never eat soggy waffles west of Rhodes. Valentine. To the west of Valentine.
I mean, I'm so bad with directions. I use clock spots, right? But I mean, part of that's me being an MMO player, or like just MMO player, Destiny players saying left and right is kind of subjective at times. So like, sometimes you'll say something is 3 o'clock or something will say something is 9 o'clock. I mean, I don't know. But my brain has a weird one. Is weird using cardinal directions.
I was so wrong. I probably shouldn't have even put this in the video.
No, I'm glad you did.
I was so convinced that I had it. I was like, oh my God, they should put me on a real murder case, make me a real detective. I'll find these guys. There's no stopping me. I was so wrong. And I could have looked it up, right? I could have looked up the location, but that felt like cheating. Anyway.
I mean, but here's the thing is like, it's additive, right? Like you went through the process, and if you have to double check your work later, like at least we get to see the journey, right? So even if you're wrong, right? It still adds to content. It still adds to the experience. And I like things like this, right? Because, I mean, you know what this could have been? This could have been a YouTube short, right? This could have been a YouTube short with using the AI voice. And did you know in Red Dead Redemption 2, if you go to these 3 spots and you find this thing, but does that necessarily hit the same, right? We're here on a journey, right? So I actually appreciate that he kept it in the video.
I found the exact bridge that lined up with the drawing, and I followed the path over to the destroyed cabin. I went to open up the cellar and was greeted by the sight of a vile, blood-soaked ritual room. Dude baloney everywhere. And I think even some girl baloney. I apologize if it's blurred. I'm not sure I can even show this without getting demonetized.
Yeah.
This one's gonna be a gamble. On the wall
Yeah.
are newspaper clippings of all the bodies that have been found around the area. And I imagine the killer tacking them up on his wall is his way of taking credit for those bodies. He's got 2 letters written on his desk. One is written to the editor of the newspaper, where he basically just pretends to be a random citizen and he's trying to explain to the editor how smart and awesome and savvy the killer is. Yeah, dude, I don't know who he is, but he's super scary and intense, and you should be scared of him. Man, he's so smart and sexy and scary and sexy. He's basically saying that if the newspaper doesn't acknowledge the killer's prowess, then they're all in danger. They might be next. Put lightning when I say that to make it scarier. And there's another letter from his mother addressed to him, talking about how he's been acting strangely recently. She mentions how he chose to forego marriage in favor of spending more time with his mom. Pretty standard behavior for folks like this. Some Norman Bates style behavior. And in the back of the cellar, it's not a big space. We're prompted to inspect a knife. Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare. Who's watching Foxy? So the killer, some
always
mama's
Foxy.
boy named Edmund Lowry, decided to walk down Arthur Morgan. Arthur's got more bodies than this guy could ever dream of. He's just not a freak about it. I also love Arthur chucking the head at him. That's so funny. I mean, he's not hard to kill. You just beat the shit out of him. He's a flimsy little guy. Definitely creepy though. He maintains that manic murderer energy all the way up to the end. You can choose to kill him here, or you can hog tie him and take him to the sheriff. But if you do bring him in, he will actually start to freak out the sheriff and then just go wild.
You get in that cell, come as you be.
When he goes to attack the sheriff, you have 2 options. You can either shoot him and kill him right there, or just kind of hang back and let the sheriff handle it. See what happens. If you don't intervene, the sheriff will eventually just pull out a gun and shoot him. Again, he's just a flimsy little guy. He's not doing too much. So no matter what you do,
What a
here,
weirdo.
this is where Edmund Lowry dies, solving the mystery of the serial killer in Red Dead Redemption 2. And while I couldn't track his location to save my goddamn life, I don't know why I'm so stupid. I really thought I was onto something. I feel like I got his personality down pretty well and pretty quickly, which is much more a compliment to the environment design and details laid out through this just incredible game. Edmund Lowry.
Honestly, the design and just like all of it is very well done. Like knowing that somebody or some people, plural, went through and they modeled all of this and they designed all this. I mean, very good job to them. Very good job. Like, awesome.
Lowry is a narcissist who is dead set on being remembered, immortalized through his work. He is, in many ways, Ozymandias, but I do have a theory about how he could be more than that. I made a video recently about the Infinity Killer in GTA 5. If you haven't seen that video, you should go watch it after this because it is related. It's related
Good video, honestly.
because in that video, I proposed the idea that the Infinity Killer wasn't a person, but a mantle that was passed down from generation to generation. A mantle that started with Edmund Lowry in Red Dead Redemption 2. I gave a lot of reasons as to why I thought this might be the case, but the main one was the fact that in GTA Online, there was a serial killer event that took place. You find the clues, kill the guy, and you get his revolver. And if you get 50 kills with that revolver, you will unlock the same exact revolver in Red Dead, but it is renamed to Edmund Lowry's revolver, implying that this
Interesting.
revolver was carried all the way from Edmund Lowry to the serial killer in GTA Online. It's literally the same model and everything. My theory was
enough.
that this revolver was passed down through time, and whoever held it was cursed to uphold Edmund Lowry's killing spree.
I mean, honestly, I like it. I like the whole curse behind that. There's also the genetic factor as well, if they are in fact just a direct descendant, right? But I mean, it definitely adds a lot of mystique if, like, I don't know, this cursed revolver ends up at, a pawn shop, and they don't want to deal with it anymore, and the person just takes as a loss on it, and then ends up in the hands of somebody else, or maybe it gets stolen, and then they're not cursed. I like it. Like, I love stuff like this, right? I've talked about, like, recently how I've watched, like, I think it was Monster Maze. He has a couple of videos, just a couple of really good Zelda videos I was watching. One of them was like Majora's Mask, Stone Tower Temple, and how it was like the war between dimensions and stuff. Like, I talk about this video because it was actually really cool. And like, do we have confirmation that this happened? Do we have confirmation that Stone Tower was, and how it inverts is in fact another way from like Hyrule into, I almost said Lowrule, that's not the correct game, Hyrule into Termina? Like, we don't know, right? But like, just theories abound, speculation, and it's all just super fun, right? Like, I love stuff like that. And so it's content like this kind of harkens back to videos like that, into an era where, like, yeah, we, theorizing about, Ocarina of Time and, the man who could see the truth, being the Sheikah and the man being the truth. Well, he was Sheikah, right? But man who could see the truth being Bongo Bongo, which was it Zeltic? Someone had a video on the Shadow Temple, and I actually subscribe to their logic. I don't agree that Bongo Bongo, I don't agree with most people. I don't think Bongo Bongo was the man who could see the truth. I don't think the evidence stacks up. But I love content like this. Like, it's really cool to go and explore things like this.
Eventually being coined in GTA 5 as the Infinity Killer, a killer who spans infinitely forward in time. All I really wanted to do here was expand on Edmund Lowry and try and prove, even if it's kind of a stretch, that Edmund Lowry would have wanted to create this mantle intentionally. Think back to Ozymandias, the poem that was written on the rock. Yes, those messages could be interpreted as a way to understand Lowry, or even make a commentary on why his narcissistic drive to be remembered is futile. But this poem specifically was written in the early 1800s. And this game, Red Dead Redemption 2, takes place in the tail end of the 1800s. I believe that Lowry, the character, was intended to be quoting the poem, as if he himself had read it. After all, it is his writing. He was so obsessed with being remembered, but eventually he knew that time would defeat him, that he would be forgotten. In the end, though, he didn't really seem to care about dying. If anything, he seemed to invite it. But maybe that's because his life specifically was never what mattered.
I would also argue, especially if he's at the point where he's arrested and going into jail, right? What does he have left to lose, right? Like, one of the most dangerous animal you can deal with is one who's been backed into a corner, right? Same with people, right? The most dangerous person you can deal with is someone who's backed into a corner and has nothing left to lose.
Cared about was that others would look on his works in despair. And creating a mantle that transcends generations was his way of doing that. There's not a lot to go off here, but honestly, I think it adds a cool layer to the idea. It does leave me with a few questions, like how does one create a serial killer mantle curse thing? Is there like a store for that? Something? Curses are us? Xmart? Like, if it is true, was it intentional truly on his part? And did he mean to create the Infinity Killer through time, or did it just kind of happen that way? Another question, is he actually blood related to the serial killer in GTA 4, Eddie Lowe? Because the names are very similar, and it's possible that they just did this as a nod to the other game, but it's also possible that they are blood related. We didn't see him have any partners of any kind, and he chose to forego marriage. But in the note from his mother, she talks specifically about how she hopes his choice in partners has improved in some way, meaning that he has had partners in the past of some kind. And the last question is, are these just Easter eggs, like little things we get to theorize on and look into, or are we gonna see more of this kind of stuff in GTA 6? Are we gonna
if we ever get GTA 6, let's be honest.
see the story continued? I would love to see the story continue, because then I get to make another video. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm just some guy trying to connect the dots for a stupid YouTube video, but I am curious. It is really interesting to me. Let me know if you guys find anything else, or if there's a couple things that I missed throughout investigating this little mystery in Red Dead Redemption 2. But in the meantime, click the card right here to go and watch another one of my videos. Thank you to these people who subscribed on Patreon. I really appreciate it. I'm using your money to build a better studio here in my basement. I'm thinking about a video on GTA 4 where I talk about the serial killer, or just some stuff in GTA 4. I really think that game has like a creepy atmosphere. I think it'd make for a good video. Or I'm thinking Red Dead Redemption 2, I talk about the monsters, like the Wolfman that we saw. There's also like Frankenstein and aliens in Red Dead 2. I'd love to talk about it. If you guys would be interested, let me know. I've got a few in the chamber, so subscribe if you want to see any of that kind of stuff. Thank you so much for 700,000 subscribers.
That's awesome,
absolutely insane. It's unbelievable. Dream come true. Thank you guys so much. But click the card. Thank you. Goodbye.
Nice. Honestly, I loved it. I thought this was a really good video. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm glad that people enjoyed the last reaction. And we'll see what happens this time around. But honestly, love the cat. Super good content. Very enjoyable to watch. Very, very enjoyable throughout. I had a lot of fun with this, and hopefully you guys did as well. Thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you had fun. I think I already said that. I don't know how to close out videos. Real quick, foregoing marriage doesn't mean you didn't have a legitimate kid. As a legitimate child could, under the right circumstances, get compensation from Lowry if they were his only living family. That is true. And I'm sure there's a lot more you could dive into with this, but I had a lot of fun with this, and hopefully you all did as well. Definitely check out the original content, especially if you have not. Links as always in the description, and I will see you all in the next one.